Everyone loves food TV, and I think it's important that with the power of food and the fact that everyone loves to watch it, that you are also going further in your storytelling and talking to people who you don't always think would own a restaurant.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, going for it. It's so good.
Hi, I'm Tiara Chiaramonte, and welcome to NBCU Academy. Producer with the Today Show digital team, and my background is basically in breaking news, where you work as a shooter, editor, producer, and it's how I really learned to tell difficult news stories and eventually pivoted into this long-form role of making wonderful videos about food. I went into journalism because I grew up in a mixed-race family. My mother is Filipino, my dad is Italian. As someone who's always kind of felt like an outsider, not quite fitting in with white people, not quite fitting in with Asian people. There's something about the gay experience that I really related to. I've been an advocate for the LGBTQ+ community for years, and it ultimately led me to working for The Advocate and Out Magazine, where I was a photo editor there for about a year, and that was when I really learned there are so many nuances to covering this community. In every job I've followed since working there, I've tried to handle those issues because I want it to be covered in the most sensitive, best way possible. Food is incredibly universal, and that's why I'm able to tell stories and push boundaries in a way that might be harder in a breaking news space when you're on a deadline. You're like, I just need to find someone surviving this hurricane. You're not really having a chance to think like, oh, well, are they LGBTQ+? And that's understandable. But with food, I have one, the luxury of time, and two, everyone just loves to eat. You definitely do not have to be LGBTQ+ to tell these stories. I am not LGBTQ+. I tell these stories because it's important for people to be allies, because ultimately the LGBTQ+ community is still a small percentage of the overall population, right? So it's important that all of us are trying our best to be respectful in how we tell those stories, and also in giving their stories some light.
The first video that I made ended up going viral for about 9 million views on TikTok, and it's just me yelling at cows.
A really good way of finding LGBT sources, often what I do is I will go to Facebook threads about a particular topic and see who's commenting on them and look at their names and reach out to them. Or I'll go to a gay bar's Instagram and I'll see who's interacting with it, who's following them, and who might have an interesting story.
They have 2 locations in Brooklyn and a dedicated following on social media.
Don't go for what's easy. Dig deeper, because that's really where you're gonna find the stories that haven't been covered before. LGBTQ+ people have gone through a lot of discrimination, so it's really important that you are respectful in how you talk to them, that you use the correct pronouns, and then it's incredibly important that you take the time to get to know them. And this is just with any source, but especially with people in the queer space, like do the pre-interviews, text them, follow up, get to know them. The most important thing is all of us need to be constant students in covering this space, even if it's not your particular beat. If you're assigned it, if you're kind of toying with doing a big story in that space, like do the research. Make a call to any of the LGBTQ+ organizations. They're so happy to pick up the phone and give you the best way of phrasing something, the best way of covering a topic, because it changes, and you know, our understanding of gender and sexuality changes, so how we report on it has to as well. I sometimes wonder, am I the best person to be telling this story? All I can do as a straight person is to learn everything I can in how to cover the space and cover it respectfully, because you can't just ignore it because you're not gay and think that you're not the right person to tell the story.